This lecture I'm going to talk about and give you guys some demonstrations on how to finish the final project. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to go on Blackboard and you want to look at the images that I've posted there. And as you can see, there's a few samples right here of what you might find. They're images that I took from art history that I think would be appropriate for our purposes, and I've placed a grid on these images. So as you're taking a look at these, think, how can I change this? What is a little addition that I could make, or a little subtraction? How could I make this mine? How could I, not only copy it, but make it interesting? If you want to, do something simple, that's fine. This one right here might be pretty simple. So think about that. That's really, the first part of the first part of the process is to brainstorm and come up with something. Okay. Now I just decided to copy this one for you guys to show you how it works. Now I didn't change anything, and I didn't add anything to that picture. Now what you're going to have to do is get a sheet of paper ready. Okay. So what I want you to do is to draw on that sheet of paper, 18 by 24 sheet of paper. I want you to draw a grid that's 3 by 3 inches. So you'll end up with a grid that's 3 by 3 inches, but then you're going to kind of cut in, and so at a margin of 3 inches, the part that you're going to draw is not the full sheet of paper, but the part that you're going to draw is this little taped off area inside of that big sheet of paper. And so rather than do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares on the top, you're just going to do 4 squares of 3 inches each, and that's going to come out to about a foot. And then doing it lengthwise, you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's going to come out to 18. So this is going to be 12 by 18. Okay. Then I want you to tape that off with, it has to be a non-stick tape. It really has to say that. You can't just use a drafting tape or masking tape. If you use masking tape, it's going to rip your paper. I would tape that off along the area that you need to tape. And then I would lightly tone down the sheet of paper with the charcoal powder. If you don't have charcoal powder, you can use the vine charcoal, and you can spread the vine charcoal over on top of it, especially the soft vine charcoal, and then with your fingers, spread it around. Then using the pen eraser, I want you to create a grid on top of that, and then hopefully you can print out, or just use your phone or your computer screen, the image that has the grid that you have chosen. So that's your starting point. Okay. Now I'm going to do, this is how it came out. So you're going to watch it go from nothing to this, but I do need to pop over here and get our video fired up first. And I'm gonna do the whole thing. Now this is gonna last just a couple minutes. One of the things you'll see is that I'm using all the tools that I have at my disposal. I'm using the hard charcoal pencils, medium charcoal pencil, soft charcoal pencil. All those things are going to be pre-sharpened. I'm going to use a blending stick a lot. I'm going to use a pen eraser a lot. I'm going to use my finger to smear things. Sometimes I'm going to smear with the dark charcoal, the Blick charcoal stick. Sometimes I'm going to smear it with the vine charcoal. I'm going to use all these materials together to create the image, to build it up slowly. Now I've also put this sheet of paper across the image because I don't want to smear my hand on the image. So before I do anything, I want to just kind of protect the paper, and then as I move across and go literally square by square, I'm going to have something that protects it from smearing. So let's just go ahead and start watching, and I'll narrate as we do it. So there you're drawing the initial cartoon, and this is happening really fast, but I assure you in real life it happened a little bit more slowly. And let's just go back to that real quick before we move on. Let me pause it, because this is really important. This is your starting point for everything. Let me get to the right spot here. This is your starting point for everything, so you really need to have a nice drawing. But what I'm doing really is I'm just looking at the square and then copying the square. So I'm not worried about the overall picture. I'm just trying to use the square as guidance, and that's what we're going to do the entire time. We're just going to go square by square. The most important part is this drawing, and this is going to be drawn with a hard charcoal pencil very lightly. It's going to be very light drawing. Okay, so let's just proceed with that. Then once you get your drawing, I'm going to start in the upper left, and I'm just going to copy it. So when I look at that gray square, it looks like I need to erase something, I'll erase something. If it looks like I need to fill it in, I'll fill it in. I'm going to use that charcoal pencil, I'm going to blend it, I'm going to go over it again. I'm going to use as you can see, I'm using the pen eraser there to erase and create white. And just inch by inch, square by square, I'm developing all the shade and shadow. So I start with things that are very light, and then I layer on top of that. So if I'm doing the eye, for example, I'm start with all the light shadows, and then later I'm going to go on top of that with the soft charcoal pencil, because it's going to be darker. And then I'm using the blending stick a lot of times, almost like a pencil in itself. It's actually a really good drawing tool. And so as you can see, I'm modeling the form. There I used a little bit of the vine charcoal. Over here I kind of put that down on a sheet of paper, and then use my finger to smear the vine charcoal in there, which helped me develop some nice shadow in that cheek. And here I am working on the fabric. I did this all pretty quickly. I think it took about 2 hours or so to do the drawing. And I'm just thinking about where the highlight is and where the shadow is and all those shapes. Now this is definitely an advanced, more advanced technique. As far as my drawing one students go, I just want you guys to do the best you can. If you just end up doing with some kind of approximation of this, that's fine. You know, let's not hold ourselves to this ridiculous level, but I just want you to try and give it the old college try, as they say. And I think that these can be very funny too if you add some humorous details there. I decided not to do the hands in there. So I feel like this came out pretty well. And what happened to the old? So that's what it was supposed to be, and that's what it ended up being there. Although I think I got a better view right there. So it's not perfect, but it's okay. And once again, you're just using a grid, and you're going inch by inch by inch, square by square by square. These squares are going to be 3 inches, and you're going to use a tape to tape it all up, and use all the different pens and the pencils and materials, and hopefully have some good luck with this. So I know it's a difficult project, but take your time, and all I want you guys to do is do your best. Okay? Have fun.